Yesterday's unification bout, which was a rematch between Bivol and Beterbiev, was fantastic. Today I want to point out 4 things that Bivol did so well to get the victory in this rematch. Today is the final day to get the early bird pricing on my upcoming Strike Ready Takedown program, where we focus on sweeps and throws. If you want to start dominating in sparring, catching round kicks, putting people on their back, this is a course you definitely want to be involved in. 25 videos, 3 live calls, and the big savings of 40% off, good to the end of today. Now, Bivol versus Beterbiev. I watched their last fight. It was spectacular. This one I think was even better. I want to talk very quickly before we get to the technical details of Bivol, what he did. I want to talk on how difficult it must have been to come back and win a rematch when you previously lost. I have had 2 rematches in my career. I lost both fights initially. Sorry, that's not true. One of them I lost, the other one was a no contest. But to come back and then have to get that victory when you had a bad first experience, as Bivol did, is that much harder, because you're in your head a little bit and you have to overcome that. Shows that he's a true champion. Now he's a unified champion, which is amazing. So let's start off and let's talk about how he captured the victory against a crazy tough Beterbiev. And mad respect to that guy, because Bivol won rounds 1 and 2, and then all of a sudden Beterbiev just started trucking forward, and when he starts going forward, it looks like there's no stopping him. And he took round 3, 4, 5, 6. I was going, wow, he's just running away with this. So much pressure. And then all of a sudden, round 7, Bivol just did a massive turn and started utilizing the tactics we're going to talk about today. Now, the first one that I absolutely love, which gets trained a lot in boxing, especially boxing over in Russia, is this bouncy step where they kind of touch out and then they're back in. But the way he utilized it, which impressed me so much, especially against a pressure fighter like Beterbiev, he would take shots. So he'd be blocking, he'd be under this fire, boom, boom, boom. He'd be backing up. As soon as the combo would end, you would think, okay, now that he's already been backing up, he's not going to be able to mount an offense. But because of that really long stance he has and the way he kind of holds his feet, he's just able so well to be moving back, getting hit, and then bang, bang, and then back out. And it was spectacular. This is something I'm going to try and incorporate more into my own sparring. Really try to draw somebody in, take in the shots off the gloves, protecting my head, and then as soon as they're done, just sink back in and cover that distance while still remembering to get that exit. And if you're wanting to get better at this, just in general, you have to get very good at hitting, going out, hitting again, and going out. Having that in and out movement multiple times to essentially form this beautiful, very long combo with footwork involved. Now, Bivol has a fantastic jab. He's fantastic at long range in general, but a great jab. One of the things that I really liked about it though, is while he kept his hands here quite often during his defense, when he's in that sort of in-between zone where he's waiting, this hand starts drawing away. And to stop his opponent from being able to tell exactly when he's throwing, he moves it up and down. It's in motion. Now when the jab comes, is that much harder to determine, because this motion is going to be throwing you off. It's going to be somewhat distracting. I absolutely love it. You'd think a lot of times it would come from up here, but as he's moving, he'll drop and then he'll fire straight out. And remembering that your hands don't have to stay completely immobile as you move, that they can be in motion, that your hand can start to do this up down thing like that. Boom. Something to note and to try and replicate. And that's one of the big things when we see such great fighters. We want to try what they are doing and see if any of it fits with us, take it, and help create our own style. So the next time you're in for sparring, see if you can let your hands wander around a little bit. See if having your hand further out increases the speed of your jab, right? As soon as you're here and you're tight, the distance to travel is that much further, as opposed to out here, and then keeping that rocking motion is just going to make it harder to tell what's coming. Give it a shot. The next way that Bivol was able to make sure he did not lose this fight and he was able to minimize damage was with his movement. not this in and out movement, but just as Beterbiev went on the attack, just moving sideways, always moving sideways, taking those quick stops, switching angles. This is a fantastic thing that you need to train. And I always tell my students that sidestepping, just in general, is very important. You don't have to have one foot in front anymore. You just start your sidestep, and now your feet are parallel. And we saw exactly why it is so important in this fight. Definitely make sure you're training that. And of course, as I just mentioned, train the direction switches. So I don't just go to here. I sometimes stop, fake one way, continue if there's an exit, or switch again. And come here, fake, and then get back to switching, or just switch to that side. He did a very good job when his back touched the ring rope. As soon as they touched, start to circle away. And that is experience stuff, because you do not want to remain here against a puncher like Beterbiev. The final element of what I want to touch on that he did so well is so very basic, but so important. Beterbiev, right from the get-go, came out and he has this crusher overhand where he kind of turns his thumb down, and the power that he has, he just walks out, boom, or he'll just come right across the ring and just nail that in. And how did Dmitry Bivol stop himself from getting tagged by that? A punch which can knock anybody down at any moment. He very simply just kept his hands up. If we were talking about that motion before, he would not always be able to initiate motion before getting hit once. So sometimes he would take the shot, he would get knocked back, and then he would start cycling. But high hands, when you're at that punch range and just keeping them right there and just taking the shot off the glove, as opposed to off the head, even though sometimes when he got hit, he still got knocked to the side, he's not taking the same damage. High hands make such a difference. And I know so many people find that, oh, holding my hands up for round after round after round is exhausting, but we see somebody like him able to do it. And if you're not doing the training that I've already suggested, where you take hand weights and you roll your arms forward, and you go in and out, and you punch up, and you do that for minutes upon minutes upon minutes, if you're not doing that, you're not going to be able to execute high guard and keep yourself safe the way that Bivol did. So amazing fight. I think at this point we're going to get a trilogy between them, because both of their fights were so good. Both the fights were very close, and it's just something that everybody's going to want to see again. Only thing, Beterbiev is now 40, apparently. He doesn't look it, but apparently he's 40, and every 6 months that goes by, just a little bit more time, probably in favor of Bivol, but Beterbiev is just such an athlete, so I'm looking forward to fight number 3.